Be happy. Be happy.
Be happy. Be happy, mommy.
Come on, keep your chill. Enjoy this time.
Smile.
Smile, smile, my darling.
Honey, you gotta count your blessings.
Welcome to Creative Mamas Unplugged. We are your hosts. I'm Cherice Barton.
And I'm Shelly Hutchinson. Creative Mamas Unplugged is a podcast where we navigate the hell out of being a creative mom with humor and heart.
We will have honest conversations,
Hear wise words from fellow badass mamas.
and share hilarious stories around motherhood for some much-needed comic relief. Listen, motherhood is the most creative, most difficult job in the world. You are not alone, and you deserve to be happy. Shelly and I are so honored to introduce Karine Plantadit, a multifaceted artist, entrepreneur, and absolute goddess in every sense of the word. Listen, as a professional dancer, instructor, choreographer, director, she has graced stages worldwide. She's an actor, she's a model, a certified yoga teacher, and a life coach. Karine's journey took her from France to New York City, where she flourished with the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater on multiple Broadway shows, and is a Tony Award nominee for her role in Come Fly Away. Beyond performing, she leads the innovative KAMOCHIMETHOD yoga discipline, and she also recently became a mother at the age of 54. We are so excited to have her here today. In this episode, Karine shares her awe-inspiring journey, which goes far beyond the word inspiring. Listen as we delve into topics like infertility, never giving up on your dreams, the absolute power of motherhood, owning our own power, being the goddesses we truly are, the importance of one's tribe, and tapping into the spirituality of motherhood and the power we carry within. Join us for a conversation that promises to enlighten and empower.
Wonderful to see you, ladies. Wonderful.
It's so nice to meet you.
Karine, I met you last year and I was so drawn to your energy. It was absolutely magnetic. And I just knew as soon as we met that I wanted to be your friend. And I'm just so honored to have you here today, not only because of the fact that you are a new mom and because of your journey leading to this point of your life, but just because I think you are one of the most inspiring, vibrant energies I have ever met in my life. And so I'm honored to have you here today.
I'm very honored to be with you both and with your audience, of course, to speak about really important things as life-giving things. So once in a while you'll hear Ciel in the background, and my good friend Janine is actually taking care of him. Having said this, I do want to share that I am leaning on a tribe around me of friends that has showed up to show me that it was possible to be supported differently than if you were in a romantic, intimate relationship with whom usually people do have children. So I just wanted to bring this in because it'll come back eventually. My journey has been that I've been in the art most of my life. This is my first love. Being a performer, it was being an artist more than just a performer. It was like the art of art, right? And dance was my thing. Dance was my thing from childhood, since I was in Africa and in France. And later on, as I moved and came to New York, it was understanding that I was loving the art because of the healing aspect of art, not just for me, but what I believe artists are. I believe the healers of humanity, and I fell into being a healer using dance, acting and dancing. So I went all in because I'm really excited about peace in the world. So I was just like, I went balls to the walls on all levels. I was like, yes, let's do this. Alvin Ailey, yes, let's do this. Lion King was my first show on Broadway when we created the original cast, right? The actual show. So that was my first show on Broadway. And then after that, Saturday Night Fever, Moving Out, and then Come Fly Away, where I was Tony nominated. And then After Midnight, Only Gold was one of them recently. And then when I turned 40, I've always wanted to be a mother. This was always a thing. And then I turned 40, got nominated around 40, 41. And then I looked and I was like, whoa, wait a minute, did I miss the boat? Shit. So it became like a thing. It was just like, oh, shit. No, I'm good. My eggs are great. I'm great. We're making this work. So I started to actively working to make a baby. And that led me to doing regularly, I coerced literally a gay friend of mine to make love to me. I mean, this is like how far as I wanted to go. This was like, I'm going to use your sperm. I was kind of in a relationship, but not really. So it was kind of like, okay, confusing. And that thing also about going like, oh, I wait for the right relationship so I will be a mother, right? And then that relationship happened to be not quite what I thought it was going to be. But I was still in that thought about like, oh, but I'll wait for the right relationship. We'll get better and then we'll do a child, we'll make a child because that's the way it goes. And then one day, I'm a Buddhist. I've been a Buddhist, a Mahayana Buddhist for the past, 30 years or so. And I went to get a guidance from a senior leader. I was around 42, 43, and I complained about the relationship and I wanted to be a mother. And that woman said to me something so important. At the end of the session, she looked at me straight in my face and she goes, "You are the only one responsible for your dreams. No one is responsible for your dream." So I left the space and I was like, what does that even mean? I was so intertwined with the idea that only within a relationship can we do a child, but that was my dream to be a mother. So what happened? Like, how does that work? It still took me a good 5 years to figure this out. It took me 5 years to understand what that meant. I kept going. So I did insemination, artificial insemination. I did, of course, my gay friend to make love to me. We did that 3 times. It was very funny. What details I'm willing to give. Yeah, I was so into like, let's make this happen. And then when I turned 50, around before that, I just lost my dream. I lost the dream because I tried so many times and it would fall. I did go to a donor bank. I used some sperms, did the insemination and all that. Nothing worked. And I finally dropped the ball fully. And I was just like, I'm just not going to be doing that. I'm not going to be a mother in this lifetime. And then so out of that came a conversation with a friend of mine. Her name is Radha Agrawal. And she's the founder of Daybreaker. I was working with them during the pandemic. And she's that igniting human being that comes to your life and kind of like shakes you a little bit. That was all. So she looked at me. I was like, I understand why you will be so sad. You wanted a child because I also wanted a child and I'm not going to have that. So she took my class and she felt so good after the yoga class, right? So she was like, I'm finally feeling in my body. And then she talked about motherhood. And then I was like, I get it. I feel the same way. I wish I could be a mother. And then she looked at me straight in my face. She was like, why are you not? And I was like, because I'm 50. My eggs are shot. It's done. And she was like, so you need eggs. And that was the moment of like, So I came back home with the intention to find out, can I carry a child? If I did get eggs from someone, which originally was not my thing, I was like, it's either I do it with my eggs, with my lineage, or I don't do it. And then I dropped the ball once the eggs were not good, right? I was like, okay, it's my eggs, boom, I'm out. But then all of a sudden, after chanting profoundly, I was just like, what's most important? Is it me carrying a lineage as a physical lineage, or me carrying a spiritual lineage,
Yes. Powerful. Oof.
It was that moment of going, so I apologized. I grieved. I remember I was in the shower where I realized that I will not carry on my physical lineage. And it was for some reason my African grandmother that I needed to say sorry to. That's for some reason it was her. So I spent a great amount of time just crying and crying in the shower, just like pouring water, just going like, I'm so sorry. I'm not going to be able to carry on your lineage. That was kind of a profound moment, like a turnaround. And then, but my lineage of a spiritual lineage is an important lineage because it's dealing with peace. And I'm so attached to peace that I was like, well, then who am I speaking about peace when I walk out of this lifetime where I did not actually raise someone who is dealing with peace? that can carry, the journey of peace. I was like, oh no. So that was the moment I was like, okay, you're 50, let's figure this out. Can I carry? Doctor says, yeah, you have fibroids, but they're not in the cavity of the child. So we're good. And at that point, bam, I found eggs. I was going to use my friend's sperm. All was going to go great. And then out of all of that, I was like, okay, in a week from now, we're doing this. Everything was okay. And we were working on it. And I decided to go to Mexico to take a week in Mexico. So I will relax before my life will change completely, because we were going to go forward. Well, a week before the retrieval of the eggs from my friend, and she disappeared, MIA, entirely gone. Call, nothing was going on. Out of all of that, also my relationship was not doing great. And anyway, everything fell apart. Every single thing that I know fell apart. And then the vacation, the relaxing vacation in Mexico was coming. So I said to myself, just go cry your heart out. I felt so depleted. I felt so like lost, and I didn't know what to do. Like I lost my directions completely. So I went to Mexico, and I'm speaking to this friend of mine, explaining what just went down. I was like, I thought I was coming with hands full to start a new direction, and my hands are empty, and I'm lost completely. So she said to me, 10 minutes away from here, there's the fertility clinic that's very known in Cancun. Maybe I was like, why are you saying this? He was like, I don't know. So I took my phone, I looked for the GPS, I called, and I made an appointment the next day with this guy called Dr. Flores. I liked his name too, Dr. Flower. I was like, that's kind of cool. Okay. So anyways, came out of the house, make a left turn, go to the place, meet the guy, spend half an hour, 45 minutes with him, explain my situation. I'm 50. I want to make a child. This is my body. This is who I am. This is, what do we need? He made an exam. He was like, your body is capable. And you will always know with me, if your body is not capable, then we need to find ways to make it capable. But I will never lie to you about what your body can or cannot do. So we left it at that. I came back to my friend, and she said to me, did you like the doctor? Did you like the clinic? She was like, don't you like it was all pink. And I was like, pink? I was like, that's not it. It was green. She was like, uh-oh. She was like, when you came out of the house, did you make a right or a left? I said, I made a left. She goes, no, it's the one to the right. The next day I went to the one to the right. And as soon as I entered, I was like, that's not it. It's not my clinic. My clinic was the one to the left, which I found completely at that point, I want to say this because at that point, the child is making decisions.
Choosing you at that time.
Absolutely. Choosing you and making sure you're making the steps that are necessary for them to come through. For me, in my conscious mind of just the mind, I would have followed and made a right when she would have said right, but it didn't go that way. There is a point I believe, to me, truly, in the child making, that it's in the connection between them. Once you establish that connection, then your direction is made not from a conscious head point of view. It really is, because at the end of the day, they need us to go walk a certain way so they can come through, right? It wasn't the clinic to the right. It was not going to make it. It was the left. Anyways, moved to the left, went back home, made the embryos. The embryos were completely made so basically my child comes from a petri dish. Like it literally comes from me choosing a mom, a donor mom, a donor, egg, and a donor sperm, which was an event just by on itself. Just figuring this out was very difficult. I mean, originally I was like, okay, well, I want my lineage in there. If it's possible to have some kind of black and brown, this will be nice. But the bank didn't have that. So I was like, well, fine, let's find the next coloring that I can find that is kind of looking like me. There was a Latino person from Dominican Republic. I was like, great. She had curly hair. I was like, oh, great. Curly hair is great. Latino, love Latinos. We're good. So we're grabbing this. And then for the dad, I was like, okay, no black and brown was available. So I was just, okay, great. So let me find something like my dad. My dad is French. So I looked for that. I was like, okay, let's get the French guy in there. Boom, get a French guy. They went on the Petri dish, waiting for phone calls. How many eggs does the person have? Okay, 15. Okay, only 11 are viable. Okay, they're going into the Petri dish with the sperm. Okay, where are we at? Oh, we got 9 embryos. Oh, no, 7 embryos now. Oh, no, yeah, 7. We're at 7 embryos. So it was like literally phone calls for 3 days of like, what are we having? I was chanting, oh, what is next? What is next? We ended up with like probably like 7. And then I went right away and did my first IVF with 2 embryos. This did not go through. This was my first one. It was in Mexico, in Cancun with Dr. Flores. And this gentleman, Dr. Flores, talking about, that's another point that's important, surrounding yourself with the best people, meaning the people that are going to take care of you. I was absolutely alone doing that. There was nobody but me going to the clinic on my own, doing what needed to be done. Do you understand? So I needed the staff to be so caring. And they were. Because when I fell apart, when I found out that I wasn't pregnant, the doctor literally, first of all, did not say it on the phone. He said, can you please come to the clinic? I came, they ushered me right away to him. It was during the pandemic, so he had his mask. He took his mask away. He put it to the side. He looked at me straight in my face and he said, you are not pregnant. I am so sorry. He was like, I don't know what happened. Your body was achieving all the landmarks. For some reason, you are not pregnant. So it was like this shock because you have those 10 days. Do you remember the 10 days that you do the IVF and then you have 10 days? For the 10 days there, I went absolutely crazy, lost my mind. Went on the phone, went on Instagram, went on Facebook, went on all the things you should not be doing, I was doing. I was so stressed out. 10 days, I was like, I don't understand. You just put the baby in there. It should be okay, right? I'm pregnant, right? They were like, no, there's 10 days. I was like, oh no, 10 days, what to do? So the doctor said to me something very important at the time. He said, Karine, the results that you have today do not define you as a mother. And it was a moment where I heard it in my despair and my sadness. I heard it. And he said, please go home, rest your body, meditate, chant, yoga, do all these things that you do. And whenever you're ready to do it again, I'm here. 2 years passed, more or less, where I went back dancing. And I was kind of like, maybe I should. And I started to listen to other people going like, you're too old. You're 53 now, you're too old. Who knows, being pregnant is very difficult. Being pregnant is challenging. Giving birth, you could die. All those things were going on. And I started to actually listen. I was like, wow, maybe I should do a surrogate. Maybe, I keep my body like nice and sturdy and healthy. And I just do a surrogate. And then, I don't know, there was something about that was just like, I was like, so you're going to give up on your dream because of fear. That was a moment for me. I was just like, oh, so fear is going to stop you from achieving your dream. I was like, how's that? How's that at the end of your life that you actually see that? You look back and go like, wow, that day I gave up on my dream because I was scared. And I was like, no, I can't do it. I'm not going to live like that. I prefer actually to die doing my dream than to live. You know what I mean? I just was like, no, I'm willing to go all the way. So I called back the doctor. I was like, what's going on? I went back on stage, did, this show that I loved, and then went to Egypt. I went to Egypt. And there I cleaned up my karma in my lineage, which needed to happen, something like, I was like, okay, let me clean up everything that I can clean up and transform everything with love, lots of love. And then 5 days after Egypt, after being in the Great Pyramid, I went to Mexico and started the process. We did the process. My body was doing great. And then the 10 days arrived, those famous 10 days. But then I had made a circle of women right before I did the IVF. And we were talking about the 10 days. And also I realized, I was like, wait, 10 days, those are not 10 days to wait. They're actually 10 days to co-create. It's a whole other level. I was like, wait a minute. No. For the 10 days, I'm going to co-create with my child. So I went all out for those 10 days and I recorded it because I felt like other women needed to know that. They needed to know that it wasn't a waiting game. In the waiting game, we're already victim. We're lost. We're gone, right? But in the co-creating, you are empowered, in fact. So the co-creating for 10 days, let it be singing, dancing, composing song, poetry, speaking to nature, speaking about the things that you're going to do with your child and spending the whole day with them, telling them about this, that, and the other. I literally went into this this production. It was a production. Like I was full. And so this 10 days, it was amazing. It was incredible. Up to 9 days, I did really good. And then on the 9th day, I took a dive. I mean, I'm talking about like this. Steep dive into the deepest doubt in my life, y'all. I mean, we're talking about, my mind started to F with me, going like, maybe the doctor is not a doctor. Maybe they didn't never put an embryo in there. Maybe my body was never capable of holding a baby anyways. Who do I think I am to be a mother? What do you think you are? Your body is 53. Everybody talks about it. It's too old to make a baby. What are you doing? I went crazy. Okay, I'm going to tell you a little secret about that day. I don't tell anybody this, but this is funny. I actually called a medium, 1-800, am I pregnant kind of a thing. Went online, paid that stupid money to this individual, and I asked her, am I pregnant? And she said, no. You're not pregnant. She said, you're not pregnant. Maybe next month, she said.
Oh my God. Maybe next month.
I hung up the phone and I was just done. I was like, and my dog was still with me at the time, Prince Henry, and I was in the car just booing, like, wah! It was hot. It was in Merida, one of the hottest places in Mexico. Hot, crying, devastated. I went back upstairs. I went to bed, woke up the next day, started to chant. And then all of a sudden I realized, I was like, wait a minute. Nobody can tell me if I'm a mother or if I'm not a mother. I say I am a mother. Even if the doctor tomorrow tells me you're not pregnant, that does not mean I'm not a mother. It might mean that I'm not a mother that way. But I am the mother of somebody. Okay, so that day was like such a switch of like between calling that person and falling, and then finally going like, no. Nobody tells me who I am. Not even the medical world can tell me who I am. That's not working, right? I was just like, okay, great. So then I went to the office, peed on the stick, and then the doctor came back and he was like, we got 2 stripes.
Creative Mamas Unplugged is produced by Breatheasy Productions with music by Jeremy Jurin. If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to give my mama 5 stars and keep coming back. Thanks to us kids, there are plenty of stories to tell. And you are not alone. Bye for now.